Well, I think Berlin is a complicated story, and it's very interesting to to think why all of a sudden did everybody sort of fall in love with Berlin. And I think it's because it was, in a way, incomplete. That there were gaps, there was space. People could feel that they could invent the city for themselves. There was a certain, out of this sort of strange history came a certain sort of innocence. And it thrived in this unfinished city full of gaps and space, and physical and mental gaps. It's not like Paris or London where, in a way, it's a closed. The challenge for Berlin, of course, is how does it go from, in a way, this building is a sort of symbol of that moment of Berlin, which we can hang on to, and it can give us reassurance. Oh, this is what Berlin. But actually, Berlin has to grow to the next phase. It can't be the distressed hippie city anymore. It has to find a new identity. The danger is that it needs proactive planning. And if we're not careful, what's tending to happen in planning is that it becomes confrontational. In the absence of direction and leadership and strategy and policy, then what you find is what you have in London, which is a sort of disenfranchised community who have no power except the power of resistance and protest, which in the end doesn't actually help you, because all that happens is that people just hit each other for a number of years, and then finally one of them falls over. And normally the investor wins, certainly in London, that's what happens. And therefore you end up with, strangely, with a city that doesn't seem to be yours anymore. It doesn't seem to be about you. So we've gone from a sort of situation where the city actually can speak better than any museum can about us in its high moment. I mean, again, just coming back from Vicenza, I would say, in that period, and they benefit from that still. This idea that a city creates a setting, the backdrop for life, for one's quotidian life, and that you somehow find your place in it. That's what architecture and urbanism can do. It can locate us. It can help us find our place in a very confusing place. That, in the contemporary negotiations between investment and protection, because the city does belong to us, and it's amazing how people feel attached. I experienced that in Neues Museum when there were protests about what we were doing. A lot of my German colleagues sort of said to me, I'm sorry that you're having such a amount of press and negativity about it, but I felt it was a very positive thing, because it reassured me that architecture is important, and that's what we believe in. So I think to try and answer your question, there is no escape from the fact that we need to develop planning strategies and ideas in a much more consensual way that finds a balance between the energy of investment, which we need, and an idea of what a city should be.